Welcome back to another episode of The Creative Real Estate Agent. My name is Anastasia Forrest, and I'm your host and also a broker associate with eXp Realty and a creative person. Today, I am so excited because I've got another amazing guest, Chandelle McDonie. Chandelle is based in the Northeast Florida area, and Chandelle brings the most unique creative options to home renovations with her extensive knowledge and use of resurfacing techniques, some of which I don't even know what they are properly, but faux painting, cabinet refinishing, and epoxy countertops, which I've seen many photos of, and they're just simply stunning. Chandelle aims to repurpose instead of get rid of, and she achieves simply stunning results. The way that Chandelle is expanding her business, according to her creative vision, is beyond inspiring, and that is why I'm delighted to welcome her to the show today. So welcome to the show, Chandelle.
Thank you. Well said. Nice to be here with you.
Yes, I'm happy to have you. I know you're a busy lady. And you were just telling me how you were in the middle of a project actually that you've that you've taken a little break from just to talk to me today. So I really appreciate you making the time.
I probably have the dust falling out of every pocket and so it's everywhere, but that's normal.
I guess that's part of the territory.
Walking advertisement.
Yes, absolutely. Who needs business cards?
Those are old days.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm very excited.
Cool. Well, why don't you go ahead and maybe share a bit more about what you're doing with your business? I know from what I've read, you started out as a solo entrepreneur and now you've expanded and you continue to grow. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you're doing today.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So I started off just painting furniture and my own interior walls at my house about 7 or 8 years ago. And I just kind of fell in love with being able to change a room with just paint. So I fell in love with painting, and then I just started figuring out different avenues. I found out what faux painting was. I never really understood that. And then I just started playing with all the different products that are out there on the market. My curiosity started to grow, and I started trying to figure out how I could salvage an entire kitchen or bathroom without ripping it out. Personally for me, I was never able to afford to rip out cabinets or countertops and replace them. So I wanted to be able to figure that out. And as I started, using the internet to understand and learn more about products, I found how you could redo countertops or cabinets, with cabinet grade paint, countertops with epoxy. I fell in love with plaster, Venetian plaster, Moroccan tile-like plaster, understanding that you can also use that in your bathrooms instead of tile. You can use it on your backsplashes. There are so many different ways to use these products. And so I kind of carved out my own little niche here in Northeast Florida by learning how to redo an entire home, basically, as long as there's no rot of any sort, using the products that I've learned how to use over the years. So I'm really blessed and super thankful that I was given these gifts to be able to recreate a space without having to rip out all of the existing things there. We can save a lot in waste. You can also save a lot in certain areas of money for clients without having to rip things out. So, and I love it. Again, I love it. And I've just fallen into not only just, the labor side of it, I've also fallen into the design part of it. So now as my business has grown and my knowledge has grown, I'm able to go in and help a client redesign an entire space with the vision that I have. And I'm not an interior designer, but I love that aspect of it. And I love being able to bring my knowledge and different unique visions that I have for spaces. So again, I'm super excited that I'm showing the world how you can recreate a space without ripping anything out if you don't have to.
That is so cool. I love it. And yeah, in our age, our modern age, where it's so easy to just kind of throw things away and buy new and that whole cycle that's so depressing. But at the same time, we're just getting used to being that way. It's neat to see somebody really embracing the idea of repurposing and making something out of what's already there. And that just turns out amazing. Like the photos I see with the use of colors. I mean, I've seen video of you pouring everything from something that looks very classy and subdued to other things that are just like wild, like dream colors and
Yes.
things. They're so beautiful, and just the amazing variety of what you're able to create is really cool.
Yeah, that's the other aspect of it is you have variety. You're able to choose and really customize your entire, I'm just going to use a kitchen, for example. A client can pick whatever colors they want, anything they want, and I can make their dreams come true. I know it sounds cheesy, but they get a lot of times to play a part in their countertops with me. This week I had a client, she stood in the kitchen with me the whole time and picked colors and this and that. And she was able to create her countertops, but with my learned skills and techniques, I'm able to make that countertop look like a real piece of stone with the colors that she picked out. So it's a really special bond even with clients. It's an intricate weaving of business and personal relationships. And I really enjoy that. Get to know people.
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually something I cherish about real estate and probably keeps me in the business. It's not just cold transactions and not seeing people, which is hard, but actually getting to know people and feel what their pain points are and be able to help relieve those points, and help them guide, be the guide that helps them to a new chapter.
Yeah. Get to play a really, really special role in their lives. And that's awesome. I feel like you understand that very much.
Yeah. Well, I would like to hear a little bit more about were you creative growing up as a teenager? It seems like it's a big part of you, the creative part of you.
Yeah, such a good question. I wouldn't have acknowledged myself as an artist until I was 24 years old. The idea of that for me didn't exist. But I was, and I just didn't realize that. So I was an athlete growing up, but I was also very artistic. I loved dressing my sisters up and taking photos of them by flower bushes and like railroad tracks or wherever I could since I was, 10 years old. I just loved doing that. And so my first form of art was photography. And that blossomed as I aged through up until 21 years old. I even had a business. And then after my divorce, I started my photography business again to make a little extra money as I began my painting business. So creativity definitely runs in my family, runs in my blood. I just didn't acknowledge the fact that I was. And it's funny, it was like some silly, cheesy eureka moment. Light bulb came on one day. I'm like, oh, that's what's wrong with me. I'm an artist. That's why I'm moody. That's why I want to create and change and fix everything. And that's why I'm so inspired by color and feng shui even. So I started off young, started off as a kid. My whole family, all the women in my family they're very much like me. We love designing spaces in our homes. Every one of us. Some of them redo furniture, some of them just design spaces, and none of us have an interior design degree. And it started off with my grandma. And then I have 3 aunts and my mother. And, I would come home from school when I was younger, and at least once a week, something was different in our house. My mom would have painted a cabinet, or she would have knocked down a wall and opened up the space. She would have done something. So I would say it's a little nature and a little nurture for sure. But I've taken that ability to create and I've started a business with it. And business, obviously, as what we're talking about and what we see on the internet, what I've been doing is renovating homes. So I'm able to, I don't want to say capitalize because I'm not rich financially. I'm rich in spirit, but my plan is to have a brand, to be able to be financially stable, to be able to help give other faux artists and other artists who have started a company but didn't make it because it was so hard to do as an artist, to be able to have that brand, have other artists come in and be a part of my team, and be able to create and feel at peace knowing that they're able to provide for themselves or their families financially. So that is my goal with my company, Faux Collective.
Wow, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
I like what you're saying. I want to go back. I want to get back to the process of building to the point where you're able to offer jobs to other people and expand your business. But I want to go back. I don't want to miss out on something you touched on earlier. You said there was a moment when you were like, oh, that's what's wrong with me. I'm creative. It's like realizing that you've been trying to like put a square shape into a circle or something.
Yeah.
Like that's why something doesn't fit. I think all creatives can relate to that feeling. And I think even once you realize you're creative, sometimes we forget, especially when we start adulting and doing all the things that we have to do as adults. Think about our finances and our health insurance and all the many things that
it kind of kills the spirit a little bit.
A little bit. And then that you can forget and you could be like, well, why am I feeling frustrated? Why am I feeling this way? And then sometimes it is like a light bulb. It's like, oh, well, like I'm not here to make sure I have health insurance. Like that's probably not my main purpose in life.
Yeah.
It's not what my ancestors were doing. It's not what is flowing through me.
No, we're here to inspire and influence one another, to bring beauty and love into this world. And we as a society get so lost in the keeping up with the status quo, and like you said, paying your insurance and having this and doing that. And, I do that. Obviously, I do fall into that oftentimes, trying to fall into the status quo. And then I realize, like, I'm working really hard to not be in debt. I'm working really hard so I can build my house in the trees and live on the land and have gardens and live life the way we're supposed to. But you have to remember to keep that level, that groundedness about you in the process and in the journey as well. And that's where you and I, people, artists like us, anybody that's not even an artist, get lost in the journey and forget to try to enjoy that process as well. I mean, I like you said, I mentioned my first form of art was photography, but that's not true. I already forgot. I mean, I started singing and playing an instrument when I was younger, and my form was music. It was photography. It was, painting and doing little things, little craft things. It's so easy to forget, that we are creative when we're bombarded with the daily chores and the daily responsibilities of adulting.
Yeah. Yeah. But something else you said struck me as well, that somehow these adulting things also serve to keep us grounded. Where, because there was a point in my life when I was in my early 20s, late teens, and all I wanted to do was go live in a hostel in the forest, and be with nature and just follow my whim and just live and and be inspired and create, and all that stuff is really beautiful. And I would love that to be part of my life as well.
Yes.
But it's easy. There's a way, I guess. I don't know. For me, my path forward involved also embracing the adulting as well.
I love how you put that. It's very well put. Yeah, no, I agree. The hostel in the forest, I living there, following the wind and embracing the free spirit. Yes, that's great. But at some point or another, people, entrepreneurs like you and I, we have to create, we want to build, we can't stop. So there's only so much that you can do, out living, on a hostel, on a piece of land, there's only so much you can do that sort of stunts us. And so we do belong here in this type of society, but we belong here as flowers as inspiration. You know, we're here to inspire others with our creativity and also our drive, our entrepreneurship, to be able to create, build, inspire, and hopefully help others feel inspired to create and be entrepreneurs as well and follow their dreams. So
Yeah, cool. I love that.
yeah.
So you're a mom and I'm also a mom. Connect with you on that. And we were just chatting offline a little bit. Our girls are only about 2 years apart. My oldest daughter and Chandelle's daughter. So how has having a child helped you to maybe unite both of those sides of yourself, the creative childlike side, and then also the one that's here, that the provisionary side, the provider?
Oh, that's such a deep question. My daughter is the reason why I do what I do. She's the reason why I'm grounded. She's the reason why I'm still here in St. Augustine in Florida. I would probably have, after my split with her dad, I probably would have taken off and moved out west, which, I don't know what my path would have been like, but I certainly wouldn't have started a painting company, not right away anyway. I don't know what the heck I would have gotten into, but I'm here because of her. I'm in this business because of her. I work hard to provide a comfortable lifestyle for her, but an influential lifestyle, a creative lifestyle. I want her to see that she can achieve anything that she wants, whether or not she goes to college or not. She can achieve whatever she wants, and she should follow her dreams and work really hard to get there and to stay positive. So her name is Waverly, and Waverly is incredibly creative and visionary, and she is, like I said, always creating. I also feel like she's very much like I was when I was a child. She's daydreaming. And so I get to watch that and also help shape that, because I didn't necessarily have anybody to guide me in my spaciness when I was daydreaming. Mm-hmm. So she grounds me and she keeps me working really hard, and she pushes me. I want to be the best that I can for her and the best example for her. I make mistakes, and I make them all the time, personally and in work. And it's about how I handle them and how she sees how I handle this. And even if she doesn't know what I'm going through, still trying to stay positive and let her also know that it's okay to be sad and vulnerable sometimes. Is really important to be accepted in that. So I just got off on a long win there, but my daughter grounds me, and she's the reason why I work so hard and I'm building this empire for her to see that she can do it. And if she wants to be a part of it, that's fine. And if she doesn't, that's also fine. There's no family, stigma here for me. It is what it is.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so beautiful. Yeah, my girls are like that too, especially my older one with the gazing off into nothingness, and I remember doing that. Like I still do that sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Like, where'd you go?
Yeah.
They're gone. Daydreaming.
Where are you? I often get asked that. Are you there? Oh yeah. Sorry, I already heard what you said like 10 seconds ago, and I was already somewhere else and like creating.
By the way, I checked out your blog. And I think the most recent post was a video of Waverly going into her room where you had put up a painting that either your relative or a good friend of yours had painted, inspired by the Avatar movie, but with you and her in the corner. Is so sweet. And my daughter, Arena, my oldest, also loves that movie and saw it when she was really young. She saw it with her dad, but she loves it. I was like, how do you even understand this movie? It's so long.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Waverly also saw it young, and it's crazy how they understand it. I love that movie so much. I think it's really important. And there's a lot of like innuendos and just things that we should pay attention to. It's what's really most important in life is connecting with one another and community. And sharing, and she just loved that, and she was super inspired by it. And so for her birthday, that's what I had painted for her by a really, really awesome friend of mine named Brooke Ramsey. She's an incredible artist, and she just painted that mural in 3 pieces on panels on the floor in Waverly's room. That was Waverly's new bedroom for her birthday, and she moved to the bigger room. And then I had the panels installed on the wall, and the video it explains it. It shows the entire emotion of her.
You see that in her expression just light up, and she looked like she was just genuinely surprised and in awe of it. Of the surprise.
She was. It was a really special moment. The last thing she said was, it was so cute. She only turned 5, but she says, "Are we gonna turn like blue people?" We don't turn blue, but we are in this painting. That's so cute. Maybe.
I love it. Their conceptual boundaries are so fluid at this age. They don't know. They don't know what, like, time wise, like that birthday cake I had a week ago. Like, is that there? Because I still want that. Like,
right. I know. It's so sweet and innocent. I wish we were like that more often.
Oh yeah. That's very, very imaginative, and it's cute. It's nice. They ask questions. They haven't stopped asking questions. They're open to possibility. And that part is really inspiring for me as a mom, and that keeps me in touch with both the responsibility, because I have an instinct to care for them and build a world for them and make, do everything I can to welcome them and make them feel safe and comfortable and capable in this world. But at the same time, they remind me of the magic and the beauty and this innocent wonder, of looking at things with new eyes.
I love that. That's how I feel.
Yeah. It's cool. It's really a special journey.
You asked, I didn't finish the question. Does it help me a little bit with my inner child? Does it help me with my childlikeness with Waverly, having a daughter? And it's actually super difficult. I'm creative all day. I'm also, leading, I don't want to call them employees, but teammates. I have people that are there, and I'm the visionary. So I, placing them here and saying yes and answering phone calls, and I do so much. I'm exhausted creatively at the end of the day, and Waverly is just ready to go at it when she gets home from school. And we have a craft room, and that whole thing is just craft explosion, and she's got it everywhere, and she's always creating. And before I started my company, we were always creating together, and now it definitely is a balance. And I beat myself up over it a lot, as most moms do. I'm like, I wish I was down on the floor more playing with her and creating with her, but I'm exhausted, and I have to come home, and I have to cook, and I have to check her book bag and clean out her lunchbox. I have all of these things that I have to take care of with her, get her to horseback riding or, music or ballet or whatever it is that week. And it's just so much. There's so much responsibility. So, trying to find that childlike creativity with her is hard, but just spending even just 10 minutes engaging with them and letting them know that, like, they're amazing, and, congratulating her on her art and uplifting her is the best that I can do sometimes. So
yeah,
it's not always going to be hours and hours on the floor making popsicle stick tree houses with pom-poms and pipe cleaners and glitter everywhere.
Yeah, but they know. I mean, when you just being present and being there, absolutely, and seeing them,
and she's so, she's blessed. I have a warehouse as well. And so not only do we have a craft room, I have an entire warehouse that is our creative space. So the back part of the warehouse is where we do all of our cabinets and our epoxy backsplashes and conference tables and stuff like that. And then up front is an entire studio that's closed off with a door with beautiful natural light. And it's where I do, canvas painting and sometimes specialty epoxy pours. And Waverly also goes up there, and she's able to create and paint. And then there's a loft up there, up the stairs that's blank right now that, I hope to turn into her creative room. So she's got so much, and she doesn't need me to lead her, always. And I have to remind myself that, there's a push pull there with being a parent and also letting them, like you said, express themselves and kind of guide themselves. So yeah, she's pretty blessed with that.
That's wonderful. You seem like an amazing mom and a fun mom.
Thank you.
So let's pivot just a bit. I want to get into how you built your business. And obviously there was a moment where you took the leap of faith and you decided to make this a reality, your dream of getting into this repurposing, repolishing, redesigning, just everything it's turned into.
Reinventing, uplifting, all the things.
Yeah. So what was your first step? How did you start marketing yourself and getting the word out there that you were in that business and promoting yourself?
I took the leap of faith and started my painting company about 4 years ago. And I just decided that I didn't want to do anything else anymore. No side gigs, no more photography. I was a preschool teacher for half a year with the potential of becoming certified and being able to teach more grades. And it just wasn't fully resonating with me. So I just took I leapt and the net appeared. I have that magnet on my refrigerator. Leap and the net will appear. And so I did. I trusted God and I just went for it. And I started by just painting walls in rundown rental homes. Did that for just a couple of months. Realized that that's not what I wanted to do forever. And so I set my intentions and said, I'm not doing this anymore. I love being able to be more creative. And so that's the kind of painting work that I want to do, set my intentions, put them out there. And then I went for it. I started using social media and Google. I put my name on Google Maps. I used Facebook and Instagram to show what I could do. And I didn't have much of a portfolio back then, so I had to really get creative with how I was showing people what I was doing. So I had a bunch of samples that I had done in a faux painting class, and I got creative with how I took pictures with them and posted them. And then as my vision grew, I started getting better at marketing and understanding what people want to see and what catches the eye out there and what our viewers are really looking for. So over the last few years, I've used social media, Instagram, and Facebook. Instagram has really, really been an amazing platform for me, but Facebook is also very much an amazing platform. You just have different types of users. So I use Instagram, and you just have to take a really, you got to be conscious in your photo taking and your composition. And then also for me, it's really important to be genuine with what's going on in my life, without giving too much personal detail. I use my words and I use my feelings to share with everyone, also through my work. So I have photos of my work, but I'm also sharing with the world how the work ties into the daily life for me and philosophy, really. And so I took that leap of faith, sharing my heart with the world. I was very scared of what my neighbors would think. You post this and you've got neighbors following you, or someone in town or whatever, and you think, oh, what are they going to think about me when I post this? It's a little vulnerable. And I finally just said, you know what? My neighbors don't define me. My close colleagues don't define me. They're not going to be the reason that I make it. Sharing myself with the world and sharing what I can do with the world is what's going to help me grow and make it. And when I pushed post for my first vulnerable post on Instagram, and my blogs, I received so much amazing feedback from people all over that would write me and say, thank you for sharing this. I'm going through the same thing, or I'm feeling this, or, just a lot of amazing feedback. And every now and then you get some people that say, not so nice things, but that's okay, because for me, I don't really take it personally. I know that that's just a reflection on them. That they're going through something and they just don't realize it. And so I just kind of hope the best for them and hope that they'll see that So I don't really take too many hurtful things on social media very personally, just because we're humans and we're so messy and we, so full of emotion. So being able to share my heart and soul with the world, I think is a huge reason why my work has expanded and grown so outwardly. I have followers from all over the world, all over, from every continent there is. I have followers, and it is so special to have friendships online with people from Africa, from South America, from Italy, everywhere, everywhere, down in the islands. I love it. And I love being able to help inspire them. I sometimes get single mothers one from Brazil, one from another country, I can't remember. They write me and they tell me that they're going through that process of becoming a single mom and that they love what I do. And being able to know that I'm just inspiring them to go for their goals and reach for the stars, that is golden to me, golden. And so that's another driving force in my company for me, is to be able to help others out there that are too afraid, to share their hearts or go after their goals.
Yeah, that's such a contrast to a typical business model or remodeling business model. Usually the emotions and the heart are maybe a bit disconnected from the day-to-day way the business is run.
Remodeling a house, is a huge deal. And we're humans, so we're constantly remodeling ourselves. We're growing and we're changing, we're shedding skin. So for me, it kind of all coincides together.
Yeah, I think so. I feel inspired to share this with you. Sometimes often it's like a recurring dream theme for me of moving into a new house. I mean, especially when I'm going through sickness, like I went through cancer, and like while I was going through that experience, I kept having this dream that I was moving out of my house and moving into a new house. And sometimes when I'm having troubles, like in my life or in my psyche, I'll have dreams about haunted house, like I'm in a haunted house. And I've realized that house is like my body, kind of, and in a way, like, I don't know, like this is just this temporary. It reminds me that this is a temporary house that I'm in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Temporary skin. It's a temporary skin. You're always shedding.
Yeah.
You're always shedding. I completely understand what you're saying. Some some people may think we're a little out of it, but that's okay. They haven't reached that self-awareness yet, and that's okay. That's okay. We all get there at our own time.
But anyway, it's really, in a symbolic way, you helping people to beautify their environments is a really beautiful service. And then at the same time, you're connecting with people and inspiring them in their life in other ways. And I don't know, I think it all connects.
Sometimes, it helps them come out of their shell when we pick different, I go into a kitchen remodel and they want gray and marble countertops, like everyone does. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's beautiful.
Yes, everybody does.
But sometimes I'm able to be like, well, what if we did a little shift in color here and there? And they're able to be like, I'm really scared of that, but okay, let's try it. And I put a lot into it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to make sure they love this. And it's always turned out so amazing. They're able to open up a little bit, maybe I helped that, or maybe I just guided that a little change, a little push in their beliefs and their systems and their values and their tastes. I don't know. It all connects together.
Yeah. So what is it that enabled you to connect with so many people all over the world? Did you follow a bunch of people, or did they find you? Did you comment? Was it like a give and take, or did you just put yourself out there so much that people started to notice?
I tried a lot of things. I spent a lot of nights up until 2 and 3 in the morning, learning how to use social media the right way, figuring out the marketing tools that you would need for it. So yeah, I did all of that. Sometimes I would just go and find people, locals in town, and follow their stuff and connect with them genuinely and like their things, and comment on some of their stuff, engage with them, because engaging is really important on social media. You can't post stuff and then not, engage back. You can't expect others to want to engage with you if you don't. Now, sometimes I don't respond back to comments right away, because I'm so busy, but I always get on there and do my responding most of the time, just because it's important to let people know that you're really thankful for their support. But, just a couple of, quick ways to build your social media is connecting with locals and also tagging local places. There's a lot of places, there's a lot of St. Augustine tags on Instagram, for instance, like St. Augustine local. It's called St. Aug local, or gosh, what are some of the ones? Igers St. Augustine, St. John's Chamber of Commerce, St. John's Cultural Council. Those places, you tag those places in your post because you want them to see it. And generally, if it's something to do with their industry, they'll follow you. Not only that, but sometimes they'll promote you. There are also wider varieties and wider accounts out there. For instance, for me, Contractors of Instagram would be one that I would tag, and they have hundreds of thousands of followers. And when you tag them in a story or in a post, their whole goal is to uplift and support that industry. So they share your stuff, and then your stuff gets put in front of hundreds of thousands of people, and then you start to receive more support and followers. You just have to engage. You can't follow everyone back, because then your feed will just be so full of things that aren't your interest, and that's okay. You don't have to feel bad about not following those back, but just be very conscious in your engagement with everyone. Respond when you can to people that are responding to your stories. Send a little heart, let them know you're thankful or whatever. So it's a process in building your social media. It's also important to post often. You have to post often. You want to keep people engaged and following what's going on. When I was building my social media, I would post two times a day at least. And I've slowed down so much. Sometimes I go 2 weeks without posting, but I'm so busy that I sometimes just can't keep up with it. It's overwhelming sometimes. So I would like to get better at it again, but I'm just kind of going with the flow, and I know that it is what it is. Social media is an amazing tool. I wrote a post about it the other day. I'm super thankful for it. It overwhelms me. It is overwhelming, but we're blessed to have it these days.
Yeah. How amazing with a touch or with a word that you can connect with so many people potentially.
With the world.
It is overwhelming. Yeah, with the world. Pretty much everybody has a cell phone.
Yes.
These days, it seems like. It is a powerful tool. Thanks for sharing that. That's that was interesting to hear, and I think will be helpful to the listeners, and definitely helpful, to me. I have a lot to learn about it, and it's about figuring out what you have time for, and then spending the time for it. And
I even spent a little bit of money with someone that has the marketing background, college marketing background. She's her entire job is social media. And so I just, I spent a couple $100 with her learning what hashtags that I should use for my business. She figured it out, she did the research, and it was worth it because she gave me 33 sets of 30 different hashtags that I could use in my posts that were geared towards my industry. And it changed everything for me. And so I just completely recommend doing that because it will help boost and gain a lot more engagement.
Oh, that's awesome.
I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, maybe you can give me your contact off the air. I'd be interested in that.
I will. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely will.
Cool. Well, I wish we had, time is going by so fast. There's so much I wanted to talk to you about. So hopefully we can do this again. But as we begin to wrap it up, I want to touch on just a couple things that I definitely wanted to get to. What's been the most challenging thing about getting to the point? I mean, you got to the point where you had too much work for you to handle as a one woman show. Yeah. I don't mean to say it that way, but that's just the phrase that comes to mind. But, you were doing everything, and now you've delegated and you've got other people out there doing the work that you've taught them how to do.
Yeah.
What is the biggest challenge with making that shift? That's a big shift.
Okay. Yes. I think even in one of your questions I read earlier was, does it simplify things more? No. No, it doesn't. But that's because I'm so young in business. I know that I'm working to go and achieve higher and go and do bigger things and have a team that I can delegate those things to. But right now we're so slammed with work. I have 2 other teammates that work for me and they're busy constantly. And it's they report to me, but they are practically, they're very trained craftsmen and they know what they're doing, but they, because they work for the Folk Collective, they feel, thankfully, and they respect me by reporting to me. So, it's a lot because I want to make sure that they're happy, that they're taken care of, that they know where they need to be. And I got to keep the clients happy. I've got to answer the phones and I've got to respond to the emails. I've got to go do the bidding and I've got to do the bids and I've got to do the work. And it's a lot, and if I were back to just doing it by myself, I'm never gonna go and achieve higher. I'm just not going to do that because there's only so much a body can handle and a mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I know that delegating is the right way. I just know it's going to take a little longer and that's okay. So is it simplifying anything? Not yet, but it's well on its way, and it's really rewarding to see the team coming together and building a brand.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Well, that's a great answer. And it sounds kind of what I thought it was going to be like. So
yeah, there's the book. Have you read the book E-Myth, the E-Myth Revisited?
No, I haven't. No.
You should read that one. That one's really good. It talks about the entrepreneur and how we're broken into 3 parts. And it teaches you how you do have to delegate eventually. You will really like it a lot. I'd actually never finished it, but I'm almost never finished any book.
I can relate to you on that. I've got about like 6 or 7 on my Kindle that I'm different percentages of the way through.
I know. Same thing. Books all over the house, all over the phone, open, whatever. But that's okay.
Get a lot of inspiration from a lot of different places.
Yes, actually.
Yeah, well, since I have to, I know you've got work to do and I've got to go to closing at 1. I've got to be there at 1. So we are going to have to wrap it up. But before we go, please let people know how they can find your stuff and perhaps get a hold of you for a potential remodel project.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time too. I really appreciate it. It was amazing connecting with you. And I look forward to connecting offline as well. But anyone can find my work. I have a few different social media handles. Instagram is Chandelle Paints, and that's CHANDELLE Paints. And then the Folk Collective is also another Instagram, which is where we keep all of our portfolio pieces. And that's FAUX, the Folk Collective. And the same are on Facebook. And then my website is thefolkcollective.com. So anybody can reach out to me on any platform they want. Email is best if they're interested in learning more. But that's all. There's many places you can find, or just Google Chandelle Paints.
Perfect. Well, yeah, the website's beautiful. You guys should check it out. It's a very nice website.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thanks everybody who tuned in today.
Thanks for tuning.
Yeah. And I'll see you next week with another episode of The Creative Real Estate Agent. If you have any questions about real estate or eXp Realty, or being creative and trying to balance your crazy creative energy with being an adult and running a business, feel free to reach out to me.
All awesome. Right. Thank you, Anastasia.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.